Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel YNR Daily Spoiler. Nick left unconscious. Noah chooses Matt.
Nick left unconscious. Noah chooses Matt over his own family. Brother versus brother. Nick Newman, who is tough and well-groomed, has been trying to heal his own wounds for the past month. A press release can be transformed into a pledge by him. But his hands, which exhibit a little trembling and a drop of sweat at his temples, betray him. His family is its greatest asset despite all of its wounds. And he comes here because appearances matter. Noah Newman slips into the crowd and arrives late because he has the wrong kind of tightness in his jaw. He seems to be a man who has been sleeping on decisions and waking up to their consequences. Expectations have always hovered over Noah, the submissive son with a sensitive heart and a complicated conscience. His loyalty is a personal rift that has the capacity to ruin a life, which makes it worse tonight. Matt Abbott is standing silently at the far end of the room, surrounded by a sea of well-tailored suits that have been deliberately divided at Jack's request. Matt shouldn't be the main attraction because he is the Abbott's son by law rather than by unquestionable blood, and his legal status has been both a burden and a shield. For months, the Abbott-Newman dispute has revolved around Matt's name. His presence tonight is a declaration and an attempt at normalcy. His eyes cling to Noah's. The history there cannot be measured by anybody else. The wedge is based on a secret, DNA results that no one in the public eye predicted, and that everyone who knows the family in private feared. As is now widely known in back rooms and whispered in the quiet reverence of family dinners, Matt's paternity is complicated. But the discovery only made things worse. Matt is seen by some as a son who needs to be shielded at all costs. For others, he is a political liability. Noah's decision has been simmering for weeks, and the forced unity of the reception is about to blow up. The first domino falls when a glass shatters near the head table. When a toddler knocks over champagne, it's just a noise that attracts attention, but the media will later describe it as significant. As he gets closer to the disturbance, Nick instantly remembers his instincts: calm, steady, and lead. At the bottom of the stairs, outside the reception hall, where the cold night makes the city appear as clear as a portrait, Noah finds Matt standing by himself, tracing the rim of an unopened cocktail. A street lamp cuts Matt's jaw into shade and light, making him appear almost frail against the city's stark lines. "Are you all right?" Noah asks, too quiet for the marching band of gossip inside. "I'm fine," Matt says with a smile that suggests a question rather than a response. "Just thinking." Noah is being more direct than usual tonight because the truth has been a commodity he cannot spend. He says no one should have to consider being who they are. "You don't have to, Matt." "Noah," Matt interrupts quietly. "You don't have to decide." Noah seems to be saying otherwise. He must decide what to do. A loyalty rooted in both his conscience and his heritage has cornered him. He knows both of his brothers, Nick, with his corporate clarity and protective iron, and Matt, with his more reserved and steady claim to a life that has been partially shaped by the goals of others. Because of the history between the Abbotts and Newmans, a single choice will destroy a family. Inside, another storm is already developing. Victor Newman, who sees family as leverage and legacies as insurance, watches the room like a commander surveying enemy territory. His lips tighten in the same manner as vault locks. When he sees Noah on the stairs, he observes the look on his face, the reluctance that men like Victor have learned to exploit. At the foot of the stairs, Noah makes a decision. He knows how the gossip machine will read it. A son choosing a different family over his father, betrayal and boldness. He is also conscious of the personal reality that has been troubling him. He has been the good son for years, despite the fact that being good in his household sometimes required him to turn a blind eye. He's tired of remaining silent. "Noah?" Matt asks, as if he can hear the drumbeat in Noah's ribs. "No," is Noah's direct response. "I refuse to comply with their expectations." Matt raises an eyebrow. Noah doesn't elaborate because he doesn't need to, because the choice has already been made. He takes hold of Matt's hand. This seemingly insignificant move looks enormous in the light spilling from the open door, and the moment is ready to be caught on camera. Before anyone knows what's happening, someone inside, one of those guests who's always one step away from a scandal, snaps a picture, which will go viral with the vicious caption, "Noah chooses Matt." Nick is the first to notice it. One of his assistants shows him the picture on his phone as if to comfort him, but it turns into a brand. Nick is physically struck by the image and lets go of the phone. His son's face is staring back at him, hand in hand with the man he has been keeping an eye on, as if the world were a circus ring and Matt was the frail act. The room blurs before he can run outside, tear between them, and demand an explanation. The muttering, the flashbulbs, and the press inside all combine to form a blur of cacophony that fades into a single, intense pit of agony. Nick initially stays motionless, his throat gripped by shock like a frigid monster, comparing betrayal to iron filings adhering to skin. Nick takes 2 steps and then faints. A night in Genoa City will always be remembered for how small and helpless wealthy people appear when faced with human weakness, even though the event staff's medics arrive in a matter of minutes. A body collapsing like a fallen column is stark and terrifying. People yell. Someone calls for water. Others swarm around him, their inner fear overshadowed by professional instincts. Victor puts a palm to his son's shoulder in an attempt to be both comforting and commanding. Noah turns with his heart in his fist, and for a terrifying moment the scene splits into 2 parallel tracks. The man he is holding, Matt, and the man on the ground, Nick. Suddenly, the decision he has already made stumbles in front of him like a charge, and the photographers outside see something quite different and pursue it with a relentless thirst. Ashley looks up at Noah and begs, "Stay, help be a part of your family," while kneeling beside Nick and whispering, "He's unconscious." Her voice sounds tense and scientific, like she's reciting an emergency plan. Noah stops moving. Noah's instincts, molded by a lifetime of balancing loyalty and truth, apply the brakes in the shock of the situation. He can hold Matt's hand and breathe comforting words into his ear. He can step in on behalf of a man whose life is as challenging as theirs. But his prior choice lingers like a charge between his ribs. He manages to say, in a raspy voice, "Call 911. He then shifts to action because choice is both pragmatic and moral, and action is the language of responsibility. He rushes inside to get help. The paramedics take over, and as Nick is carried into the ambulance, a terrible realization dawns on him. He was the center, and now he is exposed. The press follows like a wave of murmurs, and Noah watches as they bring the stretcher inside. The ambulance doors snap shut like a final word, and the paramedic effectively shuts down everything around Nick. In the days that follow, Genoa City reorganizes itself around 2 realities, the medical and the political. The Newman patriarch is lying in a hospital bed at St. Luke's, with monitors blaring like the city's pulse. Tests indicate that he had a fainting episode caused by extreme stress and dehydration. The doctors believe this is plausible, but not definitive. The official statement is characterized by corporate clarity. Mr. Holding the Line, Victor rehearses his public persona as the press prints it like a prayer, stating, "Newman is under observation and expected to recover." The real currents, though, are harsh and intimate. Noah's choice has been captured on camera by paparazzi. The internet is buzzing and hashtags are exploding. The Newman PR machine mobilizes comments, distance, and blame deflection with excruciating precision. "This is a family matter," Victor informs representatives. "Respect the family's right to privacy." Noah is under constant attack in the meantime. Images of him leaving the hospital. Images of him and Matt. Photos of him inside the car. His allegiances are a topic of interest. There are rumors that Noah's empathy is a publicity gimmick, and that he is trying to create his own public persona. Others say he's weak. Some say he's brave. The Abbott estate offers Matt a place to stay. Jack watches Noah and Matt like a man who has seen how one choice can destroy entire empires. He is appreciative of Noah's dedication and relieved. He is conscious of them because he has personally made sacrifices. But even Jack considers the situation to be a line in the sand. Jack tells Noah in a whisper one evening in the study, "You'll live with the consequences of whatever you choose now." Noah nods. "I am aware." He is aware of this because, while seated in antiseptic-smelling chairs in the hospital's waiting area, he read Nick's face as if it were scripture. He loved his brother in both simple and complicated ways, and the image of Nick's body on the stretcher obliterated any straightforward language of betrayal. But being close is only one aspect of love. Going above and beyond is sometimes necessary to be loyal. Noah's choice has confused both families. He doesn't break up with people. He doesn't garner media attention. He chooses to go to both. He refuses to make the world celebrate his empathy or use it as a weapon. He sits by Nick's hospital bed and holds his father's hand while he plans hospital visits and texts Matt with updates. He observes doctors, lawyers, and proxies. He remains silent because anyone in this city could take advantage of or harm him by using his voice. But chaos is uncontrollable. Because it takes time for his body to regain control, Nick's recovery is slow. Meanwhile, Victor begins to dig because he believes there is always an opportunity. He sees Noah's indecision as a weakness that could be exploited. Additionally, he sees it as a fault line that might widen under stress. "You put us at risk," Victor tells Noah one evening in a voice as icy as a knife. "You put your friendship with someone else ahead of your family." Noah hears himself articulate the messy, human version of how it feels to find a balance between truth and mercy, while Victor just hears what he wants, which is disobedience. Victor's society depends heavily on leverage, and anything that seems more like a moral choice than a calculated move is wasteland. Nick is not the same person who passed out when he finally wakes up. The hospital has been able to extract a gentleness under the patron saint of hard force. His first words are sharp and slurred with the memory of falling hard, directed at a hallway where Noah is standing like an accused son. "Noah," Nick reluctantly responds. "Why him?" Noah sits next to the bed and answers honestly, because that's the only language that works. Because Matt was in need of assistance. Given that he has gone through similar experiences as everyone else. Because sometimes you're in a position to make a difference. Nick's eyes narrow. "Do you think it's advantageous to choose him? You think we'll benefit from choosing him?" After swallowing, Noah chooses to tell Nick the truth he has been rehearsing. "I don't think I decided to hurt you. I think I made the right choice, even though it makes things more challenging." Nick's face crumples in a way that no power suit can fix. "Are you aware of what this will do to the world? You exposed us, and they'll turn it into a weapon and a revolution." "I am aware," Noah responds, "and I apologize. But what I witnessed cannot be reversed. I can't stop feeling what I did." Unexpectedly, Nick's hand tightens around Noah's. "You are my son. I need you to support me through difficult times." Noah's jaw tightens. "I am your son, and I will always be. But I can't pretend that I don't know what's right," he declares. They are still divided by a line, but it changes. Rather than being subjugated, it becomes a new topography, a map to be traversed. The outside world is noisy. Photographers set up camp outside the hospital. Talk shows turn editorials into thirst quenchers. People pick sides like soldiers. And Matt recognizes the price as he watches Noah make his way across the smoldering pitch. Matt tries to grasp a life free of mysteries across town. A few honest hours and the opportunity to live without being a pawn are what he desires, something more subdued. Like any man caught in the crossfire of powerful families, he is complex, grateful, and afraid. After that, the hearing is held. The board of Newman Enterprises convenes to assess the harm done to the company's reputation. Lawyers call witnesses. Victor rallies his supporters. Philanthropy partners hold emergency meetings. The world seems about to split into factions. Noah stands in front of the board amid all of this. The board might be proud of him as a son, and he might choose to live a life of measured quiet after reading the room and making the deliberate choice to choose his family line and sign the document guaranteeing his loyalty and patronage. Instead, Noah speaks. He makes the case for empathy, evidence-based healing, and a path that strikes a balance between understanding and discipline. He asks the board to consider Nick's health as context rather than ammunition, and invites them to consider the human cost of extending business strategy through family. He discusses what he has seen, not as proof, but as a human realization that sometimes those who are not in positions of authority deserve protection. As the board listens and the entire country watches, the moment is both audacious and innocent. Noah's voice wavers and then steadies, and when he's finished, the respirators of the hospital across town hum in the silent room. Victor's expression is unreadable. Nick watches from his recuperation chair, his pride and annoyance blending together. The board votes. It neither maintains perfect unity nor descends into chaos. The organization will move forward with oversight with a public statement that strikes a balance between firmness and compassion. This is known as compromise. Some call it a loss. News anchors create captivating stories for hungry viewers, but members of these families also have to answer to themselves. One vote is insufficient to contain the fallout. Relationships are rewired, cash flows fluctuate, and social dynamics change. Noah learns the cost of his choices. He gets equal parts praise and criticism. Yes, he loses invitations, but he also gains something more unusual: self-respect. He develops a new degree of integrity that is unaffected by headlines. Nick recovers, but not in the same way. He learns that control has a price, and that it can't always protect what matters most. He is slow to change his mind and stubborn, but when it counts, he does, triumphantly. He acknowledges that his son's generosity does not mean betrayal. It shows a change in morality. Matt builds a life that embraces both the scandal and the goodness. He finds refuge and keeps his boundaries. He is a man whose choices are now recognized rather than forgotten, not a reward for Noah's admirable act. The city continues to spin. Board meetings have resumed. Philanthropic dinners continue. The cameras find new storms. But in the quieter corners of all that noise, two brothers unwind on a terrace and watch the city lights. At last, Noah says in a calm but tired voice, "We didn't win anything." With a grudging sense of humor that develops into wisdom, Nick replies, "We didn't lose everything either. Both of us are more nuanced than the headlines." They watch the skyline. The feud will come and go due to the nature of their planet, but during one agonizing season, something else changes. A small but essential human truth. Allegiance can be chosen in ways that even family members are shocked by. The city will continue to shout brother versus brother, and in reality, the conflict will resurface in different settings. Beneath the rumors, though, is something more ancient, a family that has made an imperfect decision to live. Noah thought his decision would ruin him as a son, but instead it exposed him as one. Additionally, life in Genoa City continues to be messy, honest, and human for the main characters, Nick, Noah, and Matt.